Sophie, Grandma replied, sounding unsure. I'm Zoe, Grandma, not Sophie.
The Amazing Zoe series tells the stories of a little girl navigating real-life moments, all inspired by Valene Campbell's own daughter, Zoe.
I was looking through her library. I'm like, this is nice. I'm always thankful for the gifts that she receives and the thoughtfulness behind it. But I just saw that there wasn't enough representation. And I thought a lot about how I felt growing up. I was born and raised in Mississauga and love my city. I love it through and through. But I went back to thinking what it made me feel like when I was watching TV or reading books or, seeing screens all over the place, billboards and so on. And I just thought, I don't think I want to repeat. I don't want her repeating that. So I thought, instead of requesting it of someone to change it, I'm going to try to change it.
Campbell, a new mom at the time, suddenly found herself writing often late at night as baby Zoe slept. She'd never written stories before. Her background is in healthcare, but the words flowed freely.
Jeremy Germans lived on a planet far away called Varion.
Once her first book about hand washing was done, she decided to self-publish, giving herself the freedom to tell the kinds of stories close to her heart.
When I started even my journey with writing, I was looking up authors from Canada, children's book authors who perhaps looked like me. And I was trying to namely look at perhaps books written in the 1970s, 80s, I'm not gonna tell you how old I am, but in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And they were very far and few between. I grew up in the age, of course, being Canadian, I grew up in the age of one particular author. He started the conversation of there's one book in particular, it's called Braids, right? And I was like, okay, that's great. Thank you for opening that conversation. But I thought how much more important it would be if it's coming from someone of color who actually have those lived experiences in feeling different, because the hair doesn't look like everyone else that we see on TV, and how it would uplift and make young girls and boys feel seen, right, if it comes from someone who looks like them. Zoe said, let's dress up as royals. Today, I'd like to be the princess. No way, I always play the princess. That's my part, Caitlin demanded. I don't know why you'd want to play the princess anyway. They never look like you. They always look like me.
Her second book, A Queen Like Me, opens a very difficult conversation about race and equity and how we see people for who they are.
I remember writing it and I thought, this may be a little harsh, and I thought, you know what? A conversation about race is okay to talk about very early. That should be introduced right away. I think there's always room for conversations about unicorns and lollipops and those fun things. There's room for them. We got to exercise and explore their imagination. But I also feel children have the capacity to understand real life situations. And we have to understand, as much as we want to shield children from real life situations, even perhaps in your home, they absorb.
Tell us about the response, what the response has been to the book.
I am just so pleased about the response, to be honest. Very widely received, well received. They send photos of themselves holding the books. I'm so glad this past summer, one of the books was included in the TD Canada Trust reading program, and the children have an opportunity to leave their responses. They can leave their comments about it, and I think I ended up with over 230 reviews, and they were beautiful. I'm just so touched by how children and parents and teachers are receiving it.
Her hope to keep creating and share more stories.
I do. I just want to reach children, as many children as I can. I want them to recognize the Amazing Zoe and the messages in it. Boys and girls, like all boys and girls, to see something of themselves in her adventures, right? Because Zoe takes adventures. She does all these wonderful things. There's value and an educational yet fun components to the stories for all.
Campbell also offers visits to schools doing read-alongs, dance, and talking about the importance of diverse literature and how to steer clear of stereotypes. She calls it the BLM 365 experience. Later this month, she'll be here at the AGO. You can find out more by heading to her website.